Hey guys, I'm the Metal Jesus, and today I'm bringing you a very special video. This is going to be really cool because it's a live Q&A that we did at the Portland Retro Gaming Expo. See, the thing is, I bring on a lot of special guests onto my videos here in the game room, as you guys well know, but we are rarely in the same room at the same time. Some of us live in Seattle, but some of us live hours away, and so it's very rare that we are all in the same room together at the same time. And so when Portland came to me and said, hey, are you interested in doing a panel? I jumped at the chance, and then I brought on a few of the special guests onto the stage. And you know, I can't describe how exciting it is to go to Portland and just hang out all together, doing what we love. And so this was a great video, a great panel. As a matter of fact, I've had several people tell me it was their favorite panel of the show, which that means an awful lot. But you can tell that we have a lot of chemistry. There's a bond with all of us on stage there. And so this is completely wide open. We just basically winged it. You're gonna see that we cover a wide range of topics from, let's see here, somebody asked me the source of my YouTube channel name. Another person asked me the future of the 64DD prototype. I answered that. People ask us questions about what got us into gaming, also what some of our biggest regrets are, and much, much more. So I think you guys are gonna love this. However, stick around till the end, because at the end of this video, I'm gonna talk about my thoughts of the expo itself, and also some of the things that happened maybe behind the scenes that didn't quite go as well as I had planned. You're gonna see that in this panel. So pretty cool. This video is about 40 to 45 minutes long. So hunker down, make some tea, grab a beer, and get ready to watch a really cool panel. So let's take a look. All right. Well, I want to thank you for coming to the Metal Jesus panel. Thank you, everyone. First of all, does the Portland Retro Gaming Expo frickin' rock? It's killer. I know. Every year I get so excited coming here because it's my peeps, it's my home, and I love it here. So, and part of my YouTube channel is all about community, and specifically what I love about my YouTube channel is bringing on people who are some of the coolest people in the Seattle and Portland area. And I'm surrounded by many of them here. So I want to introduce everybody. First of all, my name is Jason. I'm also known as the Metal Jesus, and I have a YouTube channel. I guess I'll start over on that side. So that is Radical Reggie.
Radical Reggie, and you guys know my favorite system is the PlayStation 1. So any PlayStation people in here? Okay, cool. So.
Yeah, and so I was kind of curious. I wanted them to answer sort of like, what is the part of their collection they're kind of known for? You know, what gets them excited in the morning when it comes to collecting? So to my left here, of course, is the Immortal John Hancock.
All right, raise your hand. Show me some Sega love. Yeah, Sega. All right. Yeah, to me, I'm kind of known for my Sega collection, but you know, I really collect everything in general. But I gotta say, my passion recently has been my Sega. Really digging collecting Sega Master System and some weird kart variations. All right.
John collects everything weird. Let's be honest. Okay. So, all right, and then to my right is Kinsey Burke. How's it going?
Good. And it actually took me until 10 seconds ago to know what I was going to say to answer your question.
Okay.
And I was going to start with probably my weird 360 controller collection because I still get messages about it all the time.
I know, like, what?
Yeah, why? And then I also wanted to throw in quickly, I was like, what defines me? I don't know. And all I could think of was the time that pizza guy came to the door and he stopped and he's like, damn.
Just looking at your game room.
Yeah, he's like, we opened the door and he's just like, oh my God.
and that's when you start thinking about a security system,
and
right?
Then, and then I'm like, he's going to rob us later.
Very cool. All right, and then also Kelsey Lewin.
Hi.
So you guys might know me as the weirdo who collects a lot of weird handheld stuff. I guess the Wonders one is probably like the weird defines Kelsey thing, but of course I have an enormous Vita collection as well, and DS and all that fun stuff. I like handhelds.
Absolutely. So today's the whole plan for this was no plan. Just because with so many people up on the stage, so many big collectors here, I thought it might be kind of fun to have a panel where you guys get to ask us questions, pretty much anything you really want, just kind of go for it. Between all of us, we really cover 40 years worth of gaming. And so, I guess I didn't talk about like what I specialize in. Many of you know that I got my start right out of college working at a company called Sierra Online. And so that was like an amazing moment, and that also really defined my collecting. I love big box PC games from the 80s and 90s, and I have a pretty cool collection of that stuff. And so something you don't really run into very often as well. So I heard that there's a roaming microphone around here, and we'd like to take questions. And then this will also probably end up on my YouTube channel as well. And so we get a lot of questions in general, but it'll be kind of cool too. Do you mind taking this is my wife Rebecca here, by the way.
Yeah!
Who I also met at Sierra.
I have the. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. So, do you want to just have people raise their hands?
Let's go for it and see what happens.
There we go.
All right. I saw him first. Sorry.
What's your most treasured piece in your collection?
Little game known as Barbie's Horse Adventure. No, that's not true. I really, again, getting back to PC games, I really do love some of the weirder kind of big box PC games. I recently acquired a very rare PC game that most people don't realize actually was out there. It's the very first graphical MMORPG. Most people think that's actually Ultima Online. It's actually Neverwinter Nights for the AOL. Yeah. And it came out in big box. It's actually the gold box SSI series. And so one of the rarest PC games out there usually goes for about $400 plus. And if you know PC games, that's fairly expensive. And so I didn't pay that, but I finally added it to my collection. Yeah. How about you guys? Anything you want to?
In my collection, I would say, oh gosh, I can't think of it right now. Maybe.
Everything?
Yeah, everything.
Reggie has a lot of Japanese imports. It's really fun to kind of go over to his game room and see all of these PAL. And
like a lot of like shoot 'em ups and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Survival horror games that didn't make it to America, stuff like that.
A lot of stuff you don't need to know Japanese to play, which is pretty
Exactly.
cool. But you can still have a lot of fun.
Yep.
I think for me, I have a Sega Master System game in my collection from my childhood from a rental store I used to go to as a kid. And when they went out of business, I went back and bought it. And it has the address and a sticker from the rental store still on it.
Aww.
And so it's a Hallmark moment. No, yeah, but it's really special to me. I think it will be possibly featured on a future video.
It's true. So yeah, John and I did a Sega Master System buying guide that I'm still in the process of editing, but that'll come soon.
Yeah.
How about you guys? Anything?
I'm just still like, I love collecting the like super weird things. And I remember the day, I mean, I don't know if it's my most cherished piece, but like when I got my Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and I love that book, love that game, and I was just like, remember opening it and like going through all the like feelies,
yeah.
And I was just like, this is amazing. And so I just love like the weird, fun things like that.
Yeah. So how many of you remember the Infocom text adventures?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
That guy.
Really old. Yeah, that one dude. But the amazing thing to collect for them is that they're full of stuff in the box because they're text, right? There's no graphics in the game, so they pack them full of stuff to kind of spark your imagination, and they're super fun to collect for.
Oh gosh, I'm gonna go the nostalgic route too. I still have my original Pokemon Game Boy Color and Pokemon Yellow that have like my name in Sharpie that my mom wrote on it. Yeah. So that's probably like my most cherished thing. Like that's the thing that even if it came down to, me getting evicted, I'm like, no, not selling that.
Nice.
Very cool.
This is a question for the Immortal, John Hancock.
Yeah.
I recently watched your YouTube video about your favorite original Xbox memories.
Yeah.
And you actually had an interesting item in the background. It was the issue number 0 of official Xbox magazine.
Yeah.
Can you tell us the story about how you obtained that? Is it an original print?
That's classified.
And
We have to kill you.
question for Jason, Metallica or Megadeth? And what do you think of the new Metallica album?
All right. So I'll start. I was working at GameStop at the time that the Xbox was launched. And so it was pretty easy for me. That came to the store. And so that's how I remember acquiring that, was like it was a promo to promote, hey, this is coming out. And we were essentially, I think, giving those out. We had a stack of them. And I, one thing that at the time GameStop did, which they don't do now, is like they really were pretty liberal with like, hey, rent out games. You can take this game home. You can play it.
Yeah.
We want you to be informed on this game that you're selling. And so I was able to get, several magazines and even games free because they wanted you to be educated on what you're selling. So that's how I remember acquiring that.
Metallica versus Megadeth. That's a toughie. So, or Slayer. Okay, now you made it worse.
See, none of the above.
Yeah. Metallica made 4 or 5 classic albums in the 80s. I mean, they were just knocking it out of the park. And so my favorites have always been Ride the Lightning, Master Puppets, and Justice for All, even though the bass is kind of funky on that. And then they went the weird alternative route. God.
Alternative?
Yeah, terrible. However, Megadeth's last album, like last year, Dystopia, is incredible.
Really
New
good.
guitarist, new drummer, completely revitalized. They're amazing. So if you haven't listened to that album, it's awesome.
It's really good.
Yep.
This question for Metal Jesus. You recently got the American 64 disk drive.
I know nothing.
What are you hoping to do with it?
Sleep with it.
I don't know about that.
What am I hoping to do with it? I'm not a big N64 collector, and so it just kind of came into my possession because I'm persistent, and it sort of ran into it. And I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Right now, I'm just kind of enjoying showing it off here and doing videos. That was my #1 goal with that, is to share it with the world. I didn't know what it was when I first got it. The person who I got it from didn't know what it was. And so that was a really cool part about that journey, was having all the people who worked on it at Nintendo contact me and go, yes, that's legit, or yes, that's real, and then getting the history of it. So as to what happens going forward, I don't know. I could see it ending up in someone's collection who maybe is an absolute N64 fanatic.
Like mine for free.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so she's first in line.
I might like it a little bit.
But I don't know. So I'm just, sharing. That's why I brought it here, is let other people see it and kind of enjoy it a little bit and share it with the community.
Hey, this is a question for Reggie and MetalJesus. So when you guys introduced yourselves, you said weird Japanese imports and shoot 'em ups. Now, obviously, you guys know that Japan has some really weird shoot 'em ups. So, well,
Do you know something we don't?
I don't know. Do you know something I don't know?
Maybe. I don't know.
It's called Choaniki.
What is it?
Choaniki.
What is that?
It's a shoot 'em up with
Oh, yeah.
naked men.
How do you know this?
Don't ask questions.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you own that?
I own a couple of them, yeah.
It's really weird.
I own it.
You learn something every day.
Yeah, see? It's not just me who likes naked men. That's
You're going to have to let me. But yeah, if you guys got a favorite shoot up, I guess that you want to share with us, I would definitely love to hear.
One of my favorite shoot 'em ups as of right now is a Gaia Seed for PS1. That's my #1
Oh,
import.
Gaia
That
Seed.
game is insane.
Is it like anime-ish or?
It's more like
Or Naked Men?
science fiction. Like it has a deep story mode. Like you have to leave Earth, and it's like it's insane.
Is that
But
the one like Star Fox?
No, that's something else.
Okay.
I can't remember right now. But Gaia Seed was the one where the guy is talking in the beginning about how Earth is polluted, and they have to leave Earth, and it's like he's he has English accent, but it's like really bad.
Hmm.
I can't remember, but that's like my number one game. It's really expensive because it's like I think it had a limited run, so it's not that many out there. So usually copies cost around $200, but it's worth $200, you know. But I wouldn't want to pay it again though. So.
Cool. My wife Rebecca's running around, just so you guys know. So
Okay, my first question is for MetalJesus. How did you end up with the name? How did you end up with the MetalJesusRocks? And I have a gift for you.
Okay.
So I'm going to bring it up to you.
Cool. Oh.
It's from my man, and you know him from last year. So there you go.
Well, thank you.
So how'd you end up with that name?
Oh, it's a bomb.
Awesome.
It's the Fallout anthology. Wow, thank you so much.
That's awesome.
I'm not worthy.
Nice.
Wow, thank you so much. I don't have this. That's so cool. How did I get the name? I get this a lot because it's such a weird name for a YouTube channel, right? People want to know. So the story is that when I was working in the corporate environment, I've always had long hair. And this is kind of before the time of Spotify, where now everyone has every music, on your phone. So at my job, I had this dedicated computer that had like 300 gigabytes of just nothing but nasty 80s, 90s heavy metal, all the stuff I really like. And because I needed that to get through my day, right? It's like I listened to it all day long. But I shared it with everybody within the corporation. They could just connect to my share and listen to rock and metal. Yeah. And I remember one day I was sitting in a meeting, and I'm wearing rock T-shirts at work, and everyone looks a little bit more buttoned up. And one of my coworkers called me the Metal Jesus, and everyone was just like, "What? What the?" But it stuck. And so, and then from then on at work, I was known as the Metal Jesus. And then when it came time for a YouTube channel, I was like, I want something that doesn't necessarily say retro 8-bit games, because I wanted to have a little bit more freedom in what I do, to do music, to do gamer eats, to do whatever I want to do. And so MetalJesusRocks just kind of stuck, and hopefully it's easy to remember.
Okay, this question's for Reggie. If you could forget any RPG to play through it all the way through again, what would it be?
Forget to play through it?
Forget it completely so you can play it fresh again.
And let's all add the answer.
Yeah,
it's a good one.
I already have my answer.
Me too.
So any game, but for particularly Reggie, I want to know the RPG.
Gosh, honestly, I would say Secret of Mana.
Oh, that's a good answer.
Yeah, that was the game that pretty much got me into RPGs. That was like the first one. It was action RPG, but then I started to look into more. But that was the game that really got me compelled to play them.
I'm gonna go safe right here. Final Fantasy VII, like hands down. I cried. I cried when I first played it.
Yeah, it was pretty sad.
Yeah.
For me, it'd have to be Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, because you remember that twist.
Yeah.
That twist messed me up. It was so awesome. So I'd love to kind of relive that sort of surprise.
No, it wasn't.
I would say definitely Final Fantasy IX. I don't think any game has emotionally gotten to me as much as that one did. And if I could relive that, that would be amazing. Because I replay it today, but it's never going to be that way.
You've already cried the tears.
I've already cried the tears.
Yeah.
This is a tough one for me. I think I would go with Tales of Symphonia, because that was the first
Whoa.
That's awesome, yeah. That was the first JRPG that I had played, and I was hooked ever since. I mean, I've played so many JRPGs since then. I'd been playing Pokemon for a long time, but that's not really, it's not the same. So that one, just because that was my first JRPG that really got to me.
By the way, we want to start giving away some games for questions as well. So if you want to come up, we'll give you one.
Now everyone has a question.
Because we happen to have Final Fantasy IX.
That's 8.
There you go.
Counting is so fun.
Wait, I have it.
It's here somewhere.
You have 7, though.
Dude, I had 9.
You have 7.
What?
You have 7.
Sorry. I had 9. It's back at the hotel.
Thank you. Okay.
You guys.
I want to get a question from him.
Wait. We need to.
The microphone.
Yeah, have a seat. Sorry, I'm creating chaos. I apologize. But we need you guys on the microphone so it picks it up for the video. Oh. You go, girl.
I'm so glad we have her.
Yeah. I'm creating chaos. I apologize.
How did you all get into gaming?
Aww.
How did you all get into gaming?
Let's start with Kelsey.
Oh, starting with me. Okay. I started playing Tetris and Super Mario Land on my dad's original Game Boy. He had bought it to travel with him, and he just didn't really like it, so I started playing it. I was like 3 or 4, and it just kind of stuck. I loved it.
Yeah, actually kind of similar because my dad bought the NES for him, and then the whole story was we weren't allowed to play the NES till he beat Zelda, so I was co-pilot, and then I started playing it, and I was kind of hooked ever since.
I'm old, so I do remember a time before video games, and that was the arcades, and so going to, and playing, Space Invaders, literally. I remember seeing Dragon's Lair at a pizza place and thinking it was ridiculous for 50 cents. Who does that? Nobody has that much money,
Yeah.
Especially the last 2 seconds, right? Yeah. But that's definitely where I got my start. And then we got an Atari 2600. It was downhill from there.
Well, my first experience was a Pong unit that my dad bought, who my dad hated video games. But my probably earliest memories other than that was playing on a Commodore 64 at a friend's house. And I was so jealous because, he was a fairly conservative family, but they had all these pirated games. And I was confused here. I was like, wait a minute, these games are expensive. Why do you have so many? And it's like, oh, well, my dad's part of a Commodore 64 club, and they
like a
get
pirate
together.
group?
Yeah, they daisy chain their floppy drives together and comes home with a bunch of games. And it's like, okay, I'm jealous. I'm staying the night at your house from now on.
I was around 3 or 4 years old, and my brother worked at a pizza shop, and they had arcade games in there. And there was a pinball machine, and there was a punch-out machine, and I used to play both of them. And I remember I grabbed a chair, and I started playing the pinball game. And, I had to grab a chair so I could see everything. And then I guess I was doing good at it, and people started cheering me on. And I'll never forget that. I got me pumped up, even though I wasn't really good at it, but they were cheering me on. And that was pretty much to start my love for video games, and then Punch-Out was next, and I got pretty far in that.
And also a really interesting part about Reggie's collection, he doesn't talk about very often, is your mini pinball collection.
Yeah.
So he has those where they're designed for a kitchen table.
Yeah.
But they're meant to be really authentic and stuff. He's got a pretty cool collection.
Yeah, they got air pockets in it and bumpers and everything.
Yeah.
Not like your traditional toy pinball where it just has springs and lights up and the ball drains real fast. It's almost like the real thing.
Yeah,
so.
It's pretty cool.
My question is for everybody, which game has your favorite box art? Which game's box art has really stuck out to you?
That's rough.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, so the artist is here today at the show, and he, I forget the name of him, but he
Mark
did
Erickson?
the artwork for Herzog's Vi for Sega Genesis. There it is. That's my favorite right there.
Wow.
That's my favorite artwork of all time.
John will buy it from you.
Nope. Already have it, but that's hands down, that artist is amazing, and he's got some great stories. Go check him out.
I'll go. Shadow Hearts. You guys have heard of that game?
Yeah.
That cover on the first game looks pretty insane. I like that one.
I'm just going to go anything working design.
Yeah.
Like the foil and stuff on it. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good answer.
Oh, that's really good.
Oh, it wasn't specific, so
I think I'm gonna say anything in the Atari kind of area.
That was my answer too.
That looks like it could also double as a metal album.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that was gonna be my answer. Is that in the museum here, if you guys haven't checked it out, is every boxed Atari game, and I know not everyone's into Atari because it's so old, but the thing that sold those games was just these amazing boxes. And again, you look at it, it's that's not representative of the game at all. These little pixel, it's but the box art, it didn't matter. Yeah. The Activision had its own design, the iMagic ones, it's pretty cool.
Hi, this question is for all of you. Basically, I just stumbled upon your shows, just searching for retro game material because I love retro games, and I also produce on YouTube. And I wanted to know, one, obviously it's not easy to do a show regularly, so I wanted to know, one, what is your regimen? Like, how do you like have a schedule that you do to follow to keep up, making so much content? And two, I don't want to sacrifice the first question for the second, but I'm from New York City. Are you guys going to have any plans to do any retro events on the East Coast at all?
Are you offering like your, an extra room or
Are you
something?
flying
Can we sit on your couch? So it's funny you asked this because we were talking about this privately because Kelsey just today launched her YouTube channel.
Yeah.
She's all nervous about it.
Don't clap.
And so she's the newest one taking this on, but everyone on this table has a YouTube channel that they're committed to and stuff like that. So we can all kind of speak to this. I know me personally, this year I'm doing YouTube as my career. Like it's my one job, and it's a mind-blowing thing to say. Like it's weird, because 10 years ago this job didn't really exist. Like YouTube was up, but you couldn't live off of it. The one thing I would say, that the advice I give people is that you just need to be consistent. That the thing for me when I first started YouTube is that once I committed to it, I was like, this is non-negotiable for me. Like, because I was working full time up until February of this year. So I had a full-time job, commute, all that stuff, and I still was doing YouTube 40 to 60 hours a week on top of that. And that's what it takes to do that. And so that's what you kind of need to commit to get to a certain level of success. However, that seems shocking, but imagine if you're going to start a band. People start bands all the time. And people have been doing music for an awful long time. And, there's like drummers and bass players and guitarists, they're all doing that too. But if you're going to be a band, you're going to play to clubs, crappy clubs for years at a time. And that's just kind of what it takes. And you just kind of have to commit to that. And, that's my advice. Anything else you guys would add?
I think for me, I've learned a lot from Jason about keeping a regiment, and it's helped me. And just being real, just being myself. I'm working on that, and my recent video is just down to earth conversation and not worrying about how aesthetically pleasing it is. Just keeping true to myself, and knowing your fan base. And the answer to the question about New York. First of all, I love gamers from around the world. I'd love to go to New York, but it comes down to money. I'm a teacher, so 9 months out of the year I'm pretty much stuck in my hometown. But in the summertime, if any show would want me, I'd love to go there. But it's going to take hotel and plane ticket, and that's non-negotiable.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
This is a question for everybody. What's your favorite Pokemon game?
Oh. It's just me, isn't it?
I got an answer.
Okay, you got an answer. Okay, good. Well, do we want to start with the people who can't answer?
I've tried playing Pokemon.
Have you played Pokemon Snap while possibly drinking something? Because it's great.
See, okay, so
I should do that.
One of the things about Pokemon is there's so many great spin-off games, so even if you're not a big Pokemon person, and I do think Pokemon is a game you have to get into when you're younger, or at least it seems that most people only stick with it if they play it as a kid. And it doesn't matter if you're a kid now or you were a kid in the 90s, like, that seems to be what it takes, because all the other people I've talked to,
It's a generational thing for me. I was selling Pokemon cards at GameStop, and I'm not a fan of Pokemon. And I've said that on my channel, and I'm honest about it.
You just pissed
But
off
you're
half
wrong.
the room.
It's
Thank you.
But I'm being real. I mean, I'm older. I'm not a Pokemon fan. It wasn't for me. It's no offense to anybody. It's not my thing.
I think the combat's fun, but I always want like a deeper like story progression. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's RPG light, you know?
Yeah.
I think my favorite is probably Pokemon Crystal. That one, that has probably among the deeper stories of a Pokemon game, but you're still not going to get like the depth of a real JRPG.
Okay. You
know?
got to fill in the gaps yourself.
Yeah.
Because those are your Pokemon, and this is your
This
quest.
is your adventure.
Yeah. Yep.
You want to be the very best.
I think
I always like Monster Rancher.
Monster Rancher's cool too.
Monster Rancher fan, just not a Pokemon.
I think my favorite Pokemon game is Pokemon Yellow. Favorite Pokemon spin-off is Pokemon Snap, by far.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Reggie, did you have anything to say?
She's calling you out, dude. She's
You know
calling
what? I think the Pokemon games are pretty good. I don't really care for them. I just had too many bad experiences with Pokemon dealings back in the day.
man.
That's why I love Reggie.
Don't want to meet that Pokemon in that dark alley.
Bummer, dude.
The Pokemon hype first started, it was pretty crazy. I was working at Kmart at the time, and just like people were just going crazy for it. And I was like,
okay.
That was probably
I
my
was overwhelmed. And I said, no more for me.
Yeah, I can relate. Yep.
All right, so this is a question for everybody. Do you guys feel responsible for the resurgence in the retro gaming community?
No.
Anyone else?
We've had this conversation recently because people call us out on the comments like, we're raising the price of games or whatever. And it's like, these guys can attest to it. For the most part, the conversation of price will come up before, like, should we mention this? And my answer is always, the price doesn't matter because I don't have any control over it, and they fluctuate. And also people will play ROMs, and they'll get them on the virtual console. So it's really too much for us to are the prices of retro games rising? Absolutely, we all know it. But also, too, you can collect for the PSP, you can collect for Wii, you can collect for PlayStation 2. You know what I mean? You don't have to collect for Super Nintendo. If you get in that market, that's going to cost you. And to me personally, like out here on the floor, I don't look at that stuff. I don't look at Super Nintendo games because I know that I'm competing with everybody else. But I'm looking at every Vita game, PlayStation, PSP games.
There are Vita games here?
A few.
Yeah.
Where? A couple.
At your booth.
So,
I'm sorry. Do you guys want to answer this too?
Well, I would just say it's a shocker for some younger generations, but the truth is, retro gaming has been popular for a long time before YouTube. Atari, when eBay first started, you could sell an Atari for hundreds of dollars. So, it's not anything new. Everybody thinks it's new because someone says something on YouTube and the prices spike. But the truth is that there's been peaks and valleys for 20 years.
Also, too, we're focused on video games, but take a look at people who collect sneakers. Have you looked at that stuff?
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like, you think this stuff's expensive, you have no idea. Like, it's nuts.
Yeah, I think it's just like a nostalgia thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, the same thing happened with the Atari and the NES. Once those people who played it as kids, who may have taken a hiatus from video games, once they're in their late 20s, early 30s, all of a sudden they're like, remember when we did that? And then they go back and buy it.
Member
So
berries.
it kind of goes in like kind of waves. Like now kind of like it's 64's time to shine.
Yeah, give it 10 years for the Wii. Pick them up now when they're $1. There is a way to get this cheap. You just have to be ahead of the curve.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
And as far as with the games raising their price, like after we do videos, you have to think about it like this. When developers put these games out, they didn't want them to be hidden gems. They want their games to sell. They might not have the commercial to push the games, commercial stuff like that, or, but, and even if they do go up in price, they'll just go up for a little while and then they'll come back down. It's not like they're going to go up forever. These people are just trying to capitalize on just hidden gem talk. But
Yeah, I'm much more interested in sharing good games, or on, decent games that people don't know about. That's my number one focus.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I have never visited your guys' YouTube channel whatsoever, and this is the first time I've ever heard of you guys.
Welcome.
Welcome.
But based off of what I've heard, I want to know, what is the worst game across any system you have ever played?
Oh, yeah.
I can start.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead with Drake and the 99 Dragons. Xbox. Who's played that? I am so sorry.
You can't take it back.
So the first level, the second level is a reverse of the first level without enemies. It's like the worst thing ever, and I recommend playing it with a friend if you really don't like them.
I have another answer for if you don't like your friends. Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival.
Oh.
I am a huge Animal Crossing fan. That game is the biggest disappointment I've ever played. Because of you have high expectations for a series you like.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there are worse games out there, but that was like the most soul crushing for me.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's how I felt kind of with No Man's Sky. Granted, it wasn't like a whole series. It was just
controversy.
like, I know, I'm sorry, everybody, but it was more like I've been waiting for this.
I know, you were so excited.
Stupid game for like 2 years, and it came out, and I was like, this is the worst. I spent $80 on that collector's edition.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
Mine didn't arrive from Amazon. I'm like,
good.
Yeah.
I think for me, I've had some disappointments for sure. I know for me personally, I love the Tony Hawk series and like Tony Hawk 2, 3, and 4. And then they added like the Jackass crap in there. It's like, and then all of a sudden and then you're running. It was. I'm gonna get angry. I'm gonna get angry.
Just give me skateboarding and a punk soundtrack. That's all I want.
I'm not asking for much. I know. So
Don't sell a broken game and then say it's Tony Hawk.
Oh God.
That reminds me, we were having a conversation though, while at Sierra, unfortunately, we shipped some broken games. I mean, literally, they were unfinished. And this happened because Sierra was going through a big transition at the time. And while I was working there, we shipped a game called Outpost, which is a strategy game that is literally broken. You can't finish it. And it took many patches to get that thing to work. It was an embarrassing time. That was definitely not a proud moment for us.
I'd say for me, the worst game that I feel is unplayable is Night Trap. I love Dana Plato, and that's the reason I had the game. But it's like, man, I could not, dude.
You tried though. You really
tried to get through it. I had actually to watch the whole thing. I had to watch a YouTube video of someone playing through it so I could see the story. But it's definitely unplayable. It's nothing you're gonna pop in when you have a party or anything. It's just like
Depends on the party.
Yeah, really.
Hi. I love the show, by the way. You guys are great. You all have pretty sizable collections. Is there any one game or system or accessory that still eludes you to this day? Like the one thing you still can't find that you really want in your collection?
Oh.
I can answer this. I had it in my hands just this weekend. I was shooting a Sega Saturn buying guide, and in doing so, you got to show Panzer Dragoon Saga, which is one of the best RPGs of that generation, but it only came out in the Saturn, limited numbers, very rare, very expensive. Anna, who's sitting up here in the front, was so gracious to do that video with me, and she left it at my house, and I'd walk by it like this, hey, how you doing, Yeah, it was. So I had it for a brief moment, but yeah. Although
I touched it, by the way.
yeah, rubbed it on my butt. It was. Yep. Yeah. You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah. Yeah. So I'd love to get a copy of that someday.
Oh gosh, so many. I mean, for me, it's like there's 10 things I don't want, but the blue cart variations for Sega Master System are very difficult for the U.S. library, and they're late release 1990 and they're Sega Master System games that were relaunched with the Master System 2. I know, I'm getting really obscure here. Long story short, Ghostbusters for the Sega Master System Blue Cart variation. It's eluded me. The other thing that's stupid that I'm missing is the greatest hits PlayStation 1 NFL Blitz 2001.
Yeah, so John's going for a complete greatest hits, the one with the green spines that everyone hates. He wants.
Yeah, I thought I had everything, and I'm missing that game. And then someone sent me a pic. This exists, by the way. You don't have it. It wasn't in your video. Sent me a pic, and I'm like, "What do you do that?" Oh, you're right, and I feel terrible.
It's so sad. Every time you talk, it's like, oh, buddy. You're
I need a
right.
Kleenex.
I know. How about you guys?
For me, so I think my biggest problem with me collecting is there's so many things I want, but I'm so cheap. And like I still remember so I really want a Vectrex. That's like my thing right now. But I'm also like $150. Ugh. So I remember like turning them down for like $80. So now I hate myself and I want one. Like
I have a similar situation too. There's a lot of import games that have spiked a lot in the last couple years that I really regret not getting when they were a couple hundred and now they're like 600. LSD on the PS1 is one of those. I had that in my hands when it was $300 and it's like $600 now, and it's getting like too high for me to probably ever get at this point.
Yeah.
For me, it would be it was actually two things. A Turbo Dual and Amiga 32. Is it Amiga CD?
Amiga CD32.
Yeah, those are the systems I actually want, but I haven't pulled the trigger on them. I can't find an Amiga CD. And a Turbo Dual, I was told that it's better to get a PC Engine instead because it's built better.
Or a TurboGrafx CD.
Oh, TurboGrafx CD. Okay.
Yeah, U.S. depending on what you want to go, but yeah, it's built better.
Yeah,
Lasts longer.
So we need to wrap this up. So 2 more questions. And Rebecca's walking around there.
So, learning from experience when it comes to collecting games, I know some games get a little, when you find them, they're like really expensive, but you just really, really want that game. I had that problem with Xenoblade Chronicles. If there was any game, system, accessory that you guys had in your history of collecting that you really, really want, but it was really, really expensive and you couldn't like adjust the price in your favor, what would be one particular item, game, console, or accessory?
Was it similar to what we just answered, or?
Something that's really expensive that we would pull the trigger on.
Oh.
Okay. You know, it'd probably actually be a Tempest arcade for me. I've wanted one forever, and I know they just keep going up. They're like 1,100 now. But I still really want one. Those vector graphics are beautiful. I think if someone was like, it's beautiful, do you want it? I might be like, yes.
I have a couple DS games that I'm just like, it's not getting any cheaper. Solitorobo, the rest, yeah. There's a couple that are just like, they're like $90 now, but are they ever going to get any cheaper? Probably not.
The 1970s Kiss pinball machine.
Oh, yeah. Oh, hell
Do
yeah.
I need it? No. Do I want it? Yes.
I think you need it.
Do I have room for it? No.
I'm 6
I can
away.
help you make room.
Yeah, I know.
I'll take some of those games off your
Yeah.
I'm 6 away from a Super Nintendo set, so it's at this point, it's like, man, I got that far. I'm gonna pull the trigger and have to spend the money on Aero Fighters at some point, and it's like,
it's gonna hurt.
It's gonna hurt.
Yeah.
It's gonna hurt, but you know, I'm 6 away, and I've had some fans donate some games along the way. I'm not expecting them to donate that. I'm just gonna have to do it probably.
And for me, it'd probably be the hybrid Baby Pac-Man arcade machine. So I could get that second.
Good answer.
There you go.
Yeah.
Classic.
All right, last question. And also, this question, they're going to get a DS signed by all of us. And by the way, we've been taking pictures on this for months. You have no idea what's on here, do you? Be afraid.
Reggie, this goes out to you. I'm wondering, what's your favorite Ratchet and Clank of all time?
You're gonna laugh at me, dude. It's size matters. It wasn't even the official company. That's my favorite one.
Do we have time for one more?
Yeah, let's do one more for someone ask a question for all of us.
Anyone? Anyone for everybody?
Make it good.
All right, I'm gonna come to you because I saw you.
No pressure.
No pressure.
What game or game system do you regret selling or giving away the most?
Oh God, I know this one. Me too.
I don't know this one. So, do you want to go?
So it's a game system, but it's what the game system was in. So I had the GameCube Interact, and I had it forever as my storage unit.
What is that?
It's like from the stores, like a kiosk.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I had one of those, but I had to get out of my storage unit. It wouldn't fit in my car. It had to go the way of the dumpster. I think it was the worst day of my life.
So I can add to the GameCube woes. So I worked at a GameStop when all the demo kiosks were coming out, and I had essentially other stores knowing that I was collecting these. I compiled a near complete collection, and I bagged up 2 packages to Goodwill to donate. I used to give my extra stuff there, and I accidentally bundled it all up and gave it to them and dropped it off. And it was a wrong box, and with some other rare games in there, and just, I don't know what else I lost. Like, that was some of it though. There's like almost over 20 of the kiosk discs and some of the very rare ones.
Did you try to recover it?
No.
But it was a great day for somebody else searching that, you know.
I just, I gave it up, and if I gave it up, I gave it up. And somebody don't. I'm not going to take it back.
I was actually 18, and I was actually running to the bus, and I had my Sega CD in my backpack, and the backpack was open, and it freaking fell out and smashed. It made the worst sound ever. And I think that
You're reliving it now, aren't you?
That really hurt, man. I'm feeling it right now again, how I felt then, but that was the worst thing ever. I had saved up all my money to get that.
So, did everybody go yet?
Kelsey. And then
Okay, Kelsey.
I sold my gold Toys R Us edition N64 with 2 controllers for $2.
I think.
And I think for me, I used to be an editor for a tech gaming site, and I used to get just everything from Sony, every single release that would come out, pretty much for the 2000s. And a lot of press kits that at the time I just got every day, I just didn't even think about. I just threw them all away. It's like at the time I didn't care. Now those are extremely hard to find because there's like 20 copies of that stuff somewhere. So I'm kicking myself for a lot of that. But
So I have a person here that says they have a great question that will tie up the entire.
the thing is, we're
question.
running out of time for the next panel.
Okay. Do we need to? Okay, if we need to.
Unfortunately, we need to.
We have to stop. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, we are. We're 10
all right.
minutes.
So,
sorry.
so guys, we're gonna. I want to thank you
Thanks,
everyone for coming, but we're gonna do a signing outside of there. So don't rush to the stage. Go out, and then we'll meet you out front here. Yeah. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
So that was our live panel that we did in October of 2016 at the awesome Portland Retro Gaming Expo. Before I forget, I want to do a huge shout out to Sean Harrington and his team. That's their footage that they shot at the expo, and so they gave me a version of that edited, and I just want to thank them so much for giving me that high quality footage and allowing me to share it on my YouTube channel, because like I mentioned in the beginning, I knew this was going to be a special moment because, you know, 5 really big, passionate game collectors on the stage at one time. That just rarely happens. And so, as you can see, the crowd was amazing. We were fired up to do it. Although I have to tell on people though, Kelsey, it was one of Kelsey's very first panels, and so she was kind of nervous to do it, but I thought she was great. Also, you know, other people were kind of nervous on the panel as well. But, you know, the thing is about panels like this and Portland in general is that if you haven't been to an expo like this, it's a mind-blowing experience because you are surrounded by literally thousands of people who have the same passion about video games and nerd and geek culture like you do. And so often I tell people, I'll get emails occasionally from people who are like, you know, my significant other doesn't understand my passion for video games, or maybe they don't like me playing video games or collecting or maybe cosplaying. Maybe their families don't understand it, or their friends or whatever. And I always tell them, take the opportunity and go to something like the Portland Retro Gaming Expo, because it is your tribe, it's your peeps, it's people who know and understand what it's like to be passionate about video games and video game culture. And being at that panel and surrounded by some of the biggest fans in the world is such a great honor. It was really fun. Also, after this, we did a signing immediately, and you know, that was another half an hour, 40 minutes of just getting to shake hands and sign stuff and talk to people one-on-one, and, you know, just really connect with people in such a really cool way. It's definitely awesome. So that's my thoughts of the Portland Retro Expo, actually. If you haven't gone, you should definitely go. It's worth the cost. If you live in the Seattle, Portland area, you should definitely go. If you live outside the area, by all means, I mean, it's worth a trip. Even if you don't necessarily buy any games, just to hang out with people who are passionate like you. So a couple things I want to mention about the panel. I mentioned the nervousness of being up there, but I think everyone did a great job. As you can tell, we were so excited to do it. There was one moment though, at about 17, 20 minutes in, where where I was like, oh, and we're going to give away games for questions. Well, that did not go well, and that is totally my fault. See, at panels in the past, I like giving away games that to people who ask questions. It's just a fun thing to do. You don't have to do it, but I think it's pretty neat. However, because I was being kind of loosey-goosey about this panel, I didn't make it clear that we needed a lot of games from everybody. And so while I brought games to give away, and a few other people did, there wasn't enough. And so when I started the panel, you can see actually in the beginning, I'm talking to Reggie and I'm like, oh crap, Reggie, I don't think we have enough games to give away. And I had to make a decision. I was like, well, maybe we'll hold off. And then about halfway through, we'll start giving away games, which isn't a good idea anyways, because the people who asked the questions before feel like they're gypped. But then as you can see, it caused a bit of a rush to the stage because it was unclear what was going on. I felt like such an idiot. So that's why there was some confusion about that. Thankfully, a lot of people who did ask the question came up afterwards, and I was able to give them a game. I feel like such a dumbass for doing that and not planning it better, because, you know, I wanted to give something to everybody who came and help make the panel great. You know, this panel especially because it's all Q&A, is you know, the questions drove the content, and so you guys were in charge of asking the really interesting questions, and it really worked out. So anyways, enough of me blathering on. I do want to thank the people who were up on stage with me: Reggie, the Immortal John Hancock, Kinsey, and Kelsey. I could not have pulled it off without you guys. You guys were amazing up there. Afterwards, they all told me that they had a great time, and that's exactly what I wanted. And I thank you guys for watching the video, but also if you happen to have gone to the panel, I greatly appreciate it. We'll be back next year. So, all right, guys, thank you very much for watching my channel. Thank you for subscribing, and take care. And speaking of video games, I bet you are curious as to which ones I picked up. Well, you are in luck, because Reggie and I are filming a games pickups video soon. So this video will come out first, but then in a couple weeks we'll release that pickups video. And man, we got some really awesome stuff. So you're gonna want to be subscribed to my channel and stay tuned, because that is coming very, very soon. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching.